Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome aboard. We'll be starting in about 5 minutes. 5 minutes to go. Here we go, about 1 more minute. Like we should be live. Let me turn off the music. And welcome to another Nailing FX session coming to you from Vietnam. Simplified FX trading here in Binh Hoa, Dong Nai, Vietnam. It's Wednesday, 10 a.m. in Vietnam. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning in London and 11 p.m. Tuesday night for you folks on the U.S. East Coast. My name is Bert Antonik, and you can reach me at fxopabert@gmail.com. All right, so let's get right to it. There we go. Today is Wednesday, the 1st of July in my area. And this will be a YouTube presentation. Next week on Wednesday the 8th, I'll again be on YouTube. On the 15th at 10 a.m., I will be from Vietnam on FX Street. And on the 22nd, back on YouTube. And the 29th, basically here on FX Street once more. You can get the complete schedule of not only my sessions, but also all of the other instructors' sessions at www.tradewithufos.com/OPA. And when you get there, you'll see a Get Together button at the top of the page. Click that button and you will be right into the schedule. All right, so let's start out with the disclaimer. The following videos, clips, demonstrations, presenter guides are for educational and instructional purposes only. Tradedictive and Trade with UFOs and its presenters provide trading information purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the products. Users understand that all the content used in the information presented is purely for demonstration purposes only, are not instructions to take trades, we never tell you what to do, and does not provide any indication or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through any presentation demonstration does not indicate in any way the results you may receive by using the products or methodologies we offer. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and see what we're doing today. Today is my 5th session in the Nailing FX series. We'll take a quick look at the market timing clock, and then we're going to review the trades from the last session. We'll review the Euro USD trade, review the Aussie USD trade. We'll do a little bit of correlation with the MT4, MT4 data and TradingView. And then we may have some time. We'll try to see if we can hunt for some actual trades. All right, so again, the market timing clock is very good. Take a look at the market timing clock. It will tell you what markets are open and what currency pairs might be the most beneficial to trade. You can set the market timing clock to your own time zone. As you see here, my time zone is set up for +7 in Vietnam. All right, so here are the trades that we took, or that I took, from last session. You can see that at 0627, that is server time. That is server time, okay? I put on a buy limit on the Euro USD Pro. I had the price here, you can see, a 1.13103, a stop loss, and a target, and the price, okay? That's the price that existed at the time. Also, shortly after that, when we were hunting for the trade, at 6:45 server time, I put on a buy limit on the Aussie USD, all right? And what happened? Well, about 4 hours later, you can see 6:27 to 10:17, just under 4 hours later, and 6:45 to 10 again. The trades were stopped out. Okay, the stop loss was hit. Now, why did that happen? And then we will go ahead and look down the line here. You can see I paid a commission of 70 cents on each of those trades. There was a 70-cent commission because I'm trading what's called a pro account, So I'm getting raw spreads from the broker. And since the broker is giving me raw spreads, they are not getting anything for that, so they have to make some money, obviously. Otherwise, if they don't make money, we don't get the data. So they charge a commissions. So on a mini, they charge 70 cents. All right, so that was the cost of the trade. All right, so let's take a look now at the Euro USD trade. You can see here was the trade set up. The buy limit order was put in here. Okay, the buy limit order was put in here. So I was anticipating that price would come down to the buy limit and then move back up. Where's my, whoops. Then move back up and hit our target. It was a very tight target, very tight trade. I actually have to apologize. I really forced this trade in order to make the actual trade, to show you the complete process. And that's one of the reasons why, in anticipation, I got to tell you again, whenever I anticipate what the market is going to do, I'm thinking, I know what the market's going to do, and don't follow the exact rules, that's the loss. That's a loss. All right, so there you see also, here is the stop loss down here. So at 6:27 server time, remember, server time, the Euro USD price was the trade was put on as a limit trade. And you can see here at the same time, At the same time, on the correlating price chart here, I saw a UFO, a buy zone here, and guess what? There was another buy zone right on it, right below it, which really makes that buy zone. When that happens, we should actually combine the buy zones. Didn't do it. So price didn't stop at the bottom of that buy zone. It continued on. You can see here these little blue arrows. That's approximately, well, that's the hourly. We put this trade on an hourly chart, and that's the hourly candle. Okay, so it looked like it was going to go down. You can see the profile was up. The profile was up. Blue was over red, was over green, was over brown. And we see here the profile, the 3 moving average profile was also up. So according to the profile, price still had strength to go to the upside. One of the reasons why we took the trade. Now, looking down at the MACD, what I can see was that the MACD was also strong. It was dropping. Yes, you can see here the dots were dropping. They hadn't fully caught up with the data, so these little diamonds should be right at the top here. But it was dropping. It appeared that there was still strength because the base of the MACD was still up. However, it was not over the signal line. All right, so there's a couple of things that we should, if we look specifically and want to focus on making sure everything is correct. The MACD was basically giving us a little bit of a warning saying, you know what, price may continue to go down, but we forced the trade. I'm going to say I forced the trade. Here I look again, what is happening here? It told me that we had seven periods of strength possibility. Okay, again, it's it's an algorithm that checks and looks and gives you a decision based on the numbers. Is it 100%? Nothing ever in trading is 100%. So we were currently at that point in time, we were currently in the 5th. So we had 2 more hours of potential up move. Okay, potential up move. And so, all right, I had seen, you can see here, price had come down, touched the area where we were looking at the buy limit. I was anticipating, shouldn't do that, shouldn't anticipate, should only go with what's there. Here also we see that the indicator here was telling me that price would probably continue to go down. We had it confirmed. Okay, this was the alert period, and then we had a confirmed alert, and price was coming down. So this was actually a pullback. Okay, we had strength up until that time and a little bit of a pullback. So that's the situation. We kind of ignored some of the fundamentals of taking the trade simply because, again, my desire was to actually put on a trade so that you could see the process. All right, so let's go ahead now and go into the next one, the Aussie USD, and let me check here what we have. All right, so we can continue with the Aussie USD entry review here. Again, you can see a very, very similar setup, almost identical to the Euro USD. Here's the buy limit. Again, expecting price here is where we put on the trade at this point in time during this period. All right. We put on the trade and expected it to come down, take us in, and then go back up and continue up. So what can I say? We follow the same approach. You can see here again the MACD was above zero, the base was above zero, and as long as the base is above zero, the tendency will be for strength to the upside. Okay. Now we can see that that strength was actually waning. Here it was dropping. We can see here, so that it was dropping down, and we still had some nice space here. It looked like we might come back up. It did give us a little bit of an indication that it wanted to pull back up, and then it started to drop again. All right. So very similar, very similar to the Euro USD. And again, let's look at what was the situation over here on our chart where we were looking at the corollaries. And we again see here that we had an alert period. That alert period, okay, was confirmed because we got a close at this period below the low of the alert, right? And so price started to go down. It went down and actually hit into this second buy zone that we see down here, the second buy zone. Okay. And that second buy zone, then we had price moving back up, and that movement back up from these two candles right in here, these two periods, created a new buy zone, a new buy zone. That buy zone didn't come in from the left. It came in from this area right in here, okay? So that was a new buy zone. We anticipated that, again, price would come down to the level where it had ticked off before. Looking at the climate, what happened was, you can see here we had six potential periods where price would be strong and go to the upside. Here, what happened was it went through four and then changed. It changed. Okay, so it changed. Now, obviously, we're not sitting and monitoring or watching these trades for hours on end. So that's one of the reasons, you put your trade on, and that's the thing. It works or it doesn't work. There's nothing you can do that makes a difference, unless, of course, you have the time and you have the desire to sit and monitor and manage trades. Sometimes that's a good thing to do. Sometimes you just don't have the time to do it. All right, so let's take a look now at the how we got stopped out. You can see here. Here you can see this is the circle where we did our entry, and this candle right here is this one right here. Okay. All right. And so then 1, 2, 3, 4 hours later, you can see price went down very strong. Here now you see the MACD had caught up, it still indicated that it was still positive, but it was too late for our trade here on the Euro USD. And you can see I checked it at 3 o'clock, just after 3, my local time, which on the server was 10:17. So it was just about 4 hours later that um, the the trade gets stopped out. Okay, so hey, that's what happens. I mean, not every trade is successful, and again, pushing to get a trade on doesn't always work. Um, if we had traded in some lower time frames, maybe we would have had some success in seeing the trades through finish. But we only have 1 hour here, so there's only 1 hour, and let's just focus on the process. Here is the Aussie. You can see the Aussie here. This spike, this uh, big topping tail here is this topping tail here, and we were looking for price to come down and take us in, which it did. Unfortunately, it came down, took us in, and then continued to go south. And again, so what was the end result? The end result was that we lost $9.30 on the Euro USD. Small loss, okay, small loss. And we lost $12.30 on the Aussie, or I lost in this trade $12.30. This was based on a mini, one mini. You can see here the trade size. Here's the trade size, 0.1. 1.0 would be one standard lot. Okay, and so if you add another 0 here on a standard lot, you would have lost $93 and $123. And so if you're beginning to trade, if you're just starting out with your trades, you should be trading in the smaller sizes to be comfortable and stay with those. Don't try to make a lot of money. Don't think in terms of money. Think in terms of pips, making those pips. All right, so here we can see the Euro USD. What does it look like, or what did it look like later? I don't have the exact time when I took this, but here this vertical line here, that is the period in which the trade was put on. Okay, and here is the period 4 hours later, 1, 2, 3, 4, where the trade was stopped out. Okay, and you can see down here the MACD continued to show us that the trade was weakening, 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 weakening. All right, if we had waited, you're going to wait 4 hours. We could have waited and maybe caught this strong move to the downside. Okay, here again, this is the entry, the limit that we had over here. Okay, you can see this spinning top kind of candle is this spinning top here, and that's what it looked like when we were taking the trade. Okay, and this is the time we took the trade, the period. Obviously, that's an hour period, so I can't be that specific on it, but sometime during that period, we took the trade. All right, so I measured this distance. If we had waited for example, one of the rules is to take the trade after the blue line, this blue line crosses the red line. So that would have been the trade here. And we would have looked back. What's the rule? Look back and find the highest pivot to the left, which would have been this candle right here, and look for a confirmation, which would have been this candle. So we would have had a confirmation here, and obviously at that point we're over here on this side and getting in on this move to the downside, where even if we waited for 100% sequencing blue under the red, under the green, under the brown on this, we would have gotten about 70 pips. This was a 70 pip move over several hours here, you can see. So shooting for that small, tiny move for demonstration purposes, you know, it's kind of like the old saying, focusing on pennies and dimes and losing dollars. So it's there's nothing we can. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. Only that the process, and hopefully we'll have some time in the next half hour to actually see if we can find some good trades and follow the specific rules. All right, so let's look at the Aussie now here. Here again, this vertical yellow line, that's the period in which the trade was taken. 1, 2, 3, 4 hours later, the trade was executed, the buy, and then immediately after that, the next hour, it was stopped out. And again, looking for the blue crossing the red. It would have been on this period. Look back. Here's the high pivot. That becomes the alert period. The alert period there. And we did have a close. This close is lower than the low of the alert period. So at that point, you can start looking for the entry. And again, looking down below here, we see that the MACD was in fact telling us, okay, now you see that the price is caught up here. From this period back here, which is this right here, okay, the MACD continued to drop. It didn't really go below the zero line until later, and at the time it went below zero, the blue crossed the red. Everything lined up. I mean, what can I say? And when I looked at the trading view chart for correlation, it also gave me a good indication that price was probably going to go down. Right? But we don't have 4 hours to sit and wait. The session here, these sessions are only 1 hour, and so we have to do the best we can during that time frame. All right, so here's what we're talking about when we're correlating. I want to do a quick review of the correlation. We talked about this. This is the Japanese yen, and you can see these blue arrows. This is where the algorithm says and thinks that price is going to change direction. Okay, this is the profile. Okay, so until we get a position where price actually does change direction, here again in this area right in here, okay, so this is saying right here, this is saying, because there's no more arrows to the right, this is saying that the algorithm thinks that this is the alert period. Okay, and okay, what we're looking for is a close above that. We got that close above that. Price did start to move up, but when I look down below here, I don't see corresponding blue, thick, fat, big, whatever you want to call them, dots in the auto climate. Okay, so uh, it's, these are the auto phase. These are the auto phase, and I'm waiting for the auto climate. So again, this is an hourly chart, so you can see it took several hours, half a day almost, before what happened. We got a blue crossing over the red. Okay, and the blue crosses over the red. We then look to the left and down and find the closest pivot. Here's the pivot. Okay, so that becomes the alert period, and then we're looking for a close above that alert period, which happened here. Okay, so that happened here. Also, in this little area down in here, it with this strong move to the upside, that's what created this buy zone in here. These dotted lines to the left are meaningless. Okay, you need to identify where the zone is created. Okay, so it was created here. So that buy zone, then price came up, up, up. There is no buy zone here. The buy zone, this upper buy zone, was created here. Okay, so price came up, and you could see the algorithm began giving us an indication that it thought, well, price has moved strongly to the upside. It may want to go ahead and come back. It didn't do it again and again and again. Okay, and then finally we got price moving here. Remember the blue line? We call the blue line the direction. The red line is the street, and the green line here is our guardrail. So when price, as long as we're seeing blue down below here, okay, especially in the initial stages of the blue, okay, then we would be inclined to go ahead and take a trade or add to a position once price comes into this blue-red area, and our stop would be on the green line, just below the green line. Okay, so here we can see, here we had again another indication that price was going to drop, and it's just below this area here. We have two zones up above which actually were created back here. Okay, there's the two zones where they were created back in this area. So these are the sell zones, and as you can see, price came up and hesitated at that area. So I'm looking for, this becomes the alert period. It was confirmed here, and that period did cross over all of the profile here. Very soon after that, in the next couple of periods, we can see that we had blue crossing red in the next period here. So everything was set up for a down move, and it did move down, and we would have been looking for price to actually go down to this level down in here in order to meet our risk reward, right? Okay, or we would be looking for pullback into this area so that we could meet our risk reward requirements. All right. And then furthermore, this moved on. So there are three things that you get from the TradingView data. You get the profile. Okay, when your profile is showing you blue over red over green, then it's giving, and obviously it's moving up. It's showing you that price has strength to the upside, especially if the profile, the lines are spread apart from each other. As they merge towards each other, that is an indication that the movement is losing strength. Okay. The next thing that you're obviously looking for is you're looking for the auto climate. You want to see these heavy blue or heavy red dots here. Okay, that's something that you definitely want to be aware of. And then you need to be also looking for the UFO zones, okay, where you have um, a buy zone or a sell zone based on the color of the UFOs, okay. So we would like to trade, obviously, from one zone to the next, see some dispersion between that, and that's the way we correlate. All right. So now we have about a half an hour left in this session. So let's go ahead and see if we can now find some actual trades so that we can go ahead and go to that. Let's bring up here. We're looking at the Euro USD 1 hour chart. And again, we've got 6 periods. So there's 4 more hours technically here. We're sitting in a buy zone. Let's see if I can open this up a little more. Bring this down. Really, we want to focus in this area. See, we got blue over red over green. We've got a buy zone below here. And not too far down, we have another buy zone in this area. Okay. So that looks like it might be interesting. All right. So here we go. Let's take a look and see what we might be looking at here. And I need to shorten this up a little bit. All right, so here we can see that what has happened is the MACD has crossed above zero. Okay, MACD has crossed above zero. And just to make that a little bit easier to identify, let's go to the levels, add the 0, and go ahead there. So, okay, now you can see that the MACD is sitting on the 0. The signal line is just coming up for this hour. Let's take a look and see. We can see there was a lot of strength here. Where did it change direction? Here's where it changed direction here. We got crossover. This would have been the alert period. Okay, let's see where we got the alert period over here. Did we get, all right, so we have an alert down in here. Close, yes. Potential move to this. Now this tells me that the algorithm, of course, with this big topping tail, we are looking at price closing below this low here, and it actually has not closed from what I can tell. Okay, you can see there's the low down here. There is no close below that indication, so we don't have a confirmed up move, which is good because we're looking for a I'm sorry, we don't have a confirmed down move because we're looking for price to go up. Okay, and we're in the second period of looks like a 6-period run. So that means there's 4 hours for this to go up. Okay, and so let's take a look here. We can see what level we're going to be at up here. I'm going to go ahead and measure this and see from here, if we get in at the top of this, oops, looks like, so that would be a 27, 28 pip stop, okay? And if it goes up to this area, we have 38. So it's a little better than 1-to-1 for this move, okay? So that looks like we might have a trade there. Let's go ahead and go to, we're on the hourly. Let's take a look at the daily and see what the daily tells us. Okay, the daily is showing, the daily is also telling us, but you know, the red, we don't have a blue dot here on the daily. And price coming down to this level and going back up. Let's take a measurement. This looks like a better trade. Okay. Going up. That's on a daily. That's a 50. That's not a 500. I can't believe that that's 500. All right, that, well, it might be. There might be a 500 pip move there. And what's the risk? We've got an 80. And we need to combine. Wow, we got, all right. So we need to combine all of this. A 254 pip stop. 254 pip stop with the potential of going to 544. So that's about a 2-to-1 on that trade. Okay, that's a 2-to-1. That's a daily. We're on a daily chart. Okay, so What we're saying here is price can, we won't get stopped out until price comes down below the lows of this area here. Okay. And we're on the Euro USD. Do we think that the Euro is going to make it up to this 500? So obviously it's not going to get up there in one day. It's going to be several days. And right now, we don't have a good indication that it's going to be strong. Let's take a look at this chart here. Open this up again and bring this down and go to daily. All right, so our stop needs to be down here, or is it down here? That's 57. Something doesn't look correct. Euro USD. Okay. This is telling me on the daily price is still got strength, but it's dropping. Okay, the strength is waning. Why do I get different numbers here? Let's take a look back here again. US dollar daily. And Euro Pro daily. For some reason, okay, measuring from current down to here, this tells me that there are 450 pips to the bottom there. And this measuring tool from here down to here, yes, 460, that's there. So it does match up. And to get up to here, now it looks like 300. So this is not a good trade. Not a good trade. We can't even make the one-to-one. I don't know why it appeared that that was possible. On the daily, let's take a look at the 4-hour. And usually when it's not possible on one time frame, it's probably not going to work on others. You can see that we have these buy zones stacked up. And again, learning from last week, when they're stacked up, we've got to go to the combine them. So we've got some space under here, and let's go to the 4-hour here. Okay, and look at this. So we're looking at $44 pips. coming down below this. So let's measure. We can put our trade, into this buy zone on the 4 hour, okay? Put it into this buy zone on the 4 hour, and oh, come on. See if we have a 35, and here is the sell zone. We've got an 84 right at the top of this area here. Let's see if that works out. So we're looking for price to drop. Give us about, put it in about the middle of the zone here. So that gives me, all right. So there's our buy. All right, so we should have a buy limit. Just looking at the buy limit, here's the buy limit, and here's our target. So from the buy limit to the target will be about 80 pips, and from the buy limit we're about 30 pips down. So let's set up the bracket order. Okay, modify, and I'm going to first identify my stop loss. I've got a buy, so that's got to come down. Just pull that down, modify, and you can see here now I'm going to go ahead and pull that down below here, and I need to go ahead and I can see here on this side here, that tells me where my stop, how many pips. We want to go to 40, and that's about it. Okay, so if I'm wrong on this one, okay, let's take a look here. If I'm wrong, I lose 40 pips, and now we want to modify this for our target. Modify and take profit. We're going to go up and just zip that up along a little bit. Go modify, and where did it go? Where did it go? Ah, there it is, right here. So I'm going to take that and put that up here for 80 pips. All right, so there's our trade. We have the trade here. What are we looking for? We're looking for price to drop down and take us in, and then come back up to the upside here, hopefully without going here down to our stop loss. Nothing can guarantee what's going to happen. Everything appears to be set up. It's the MACD is still saying that there is strength to the downside, but we can see that it's starting to rise, hopefully over the next several hour or 4 hour periods. 4 hour periods, we'll see this come up and cross up over the zero line and again come back in on this side. So that's the trade that we put on here. Little bit more of the analysis, We're looking for price to come into this buy zone, right? In about this, I put it about the center of the buy zone. You can see that I do all my charting visually. I do all my charting and I do everything visually. First, I identify where the stop needs to go. Okay, our stop is just under this zone here. Okay, just under this zone here. And looking back, let me just double check that. Okay, yeah, see, there it is, under here, and that is, well, I can read it off of here. That's a 40 pip stop, okay, and we're looking for a 80, little better than 80 target. So 40 to 80, that's a 2-to-1 trade. It's a good trade setup. We'll see what happens. There's not much more that we can do on this trade. All right. So flat on the MACD, slightly rising. I'd like to see it go ahead and give me some movement to the downside first. Let's see what potential there is on the 1 hour chart. Okay, this is showing that it's coming down. All right, 1 hour is starting to move down. Let's take a look at the 15. The 15-minute chart. Yes, we've dropped below, the MACD has dropped below the signal line. Okay, looks like it's going to cross below zero, and obviously this is going to happen first, so we are looking for this to go down all the way down here to our buy limit and then turn around and head back north. Okay, on the 15-minute chart, I would say that, well, there's a zone right in here that would be based on the setup of the candles here. So it looks like on the 15-minute, we're good. Here it's dropping, heading towards our buy limit. Well, let's see if we try to 15. Let's go over here to the 15. Let's see what it looks like on the 15 here. All right, so here, there you see it's dropping through, and it just took out that zone. Okay, that was sitting in here, and it's got 6:15, so an hour and a half still of potential to move to the downside. I'm getting an auto phase. It's already starting to indicate that it might want to go up, but my auto climate is showing that it's moving down. All right, so that's good. We have the um, blue cross the red in this zone up above here that was created. Where was that created? Let's take a look. Okay, in this area right in here. Let's go ahead and mark that off. From here down here. All right, so there is a zone that we're going to have to take that out. That's going to have to be taken out in order for price to move to the upside. All right, but on the 15-minute chart, looks like it's heading in the right direction. We may have some stalling here. Remember, it's got to move 40 pips. It's got to move. No, that's the stop. It's got to move to our entry level. Let's see what that is here. Look at that. Okay. So we need to see a move of approximately 20 pips. That's not a big move for a 4-hour chart, right? On the 15-minute, it could go down 20 pips here pretty easily and turn around and come back up. So that's it for today. I'm crossing my fingers, right? There's nothing to do other than to let it do what it's going to do. We can't force the market. All we can do is our best effort to identify where the potential trades are and take those trades, following the rules and doing the analysis that we do. So next week, I will be back with you and we'll see how this trade plays out. Hopefully, we'll have a nice return on it, but no guarantees for anything. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being with me. This is Opa Bert, and I will see you in a week.